Stop what you are doing and listen. Truly listen. Because the next 30 minutes will determine whether you spend the rest of your life as a drifter or a king. You are tired in a way that sleep does not fix. You start every new month with fire. You build momentum for a few days. And then you collapse back into the exact same destructive patterns. You look at the mirror and call yourself lazy. You think you lack discipline. Society tells you that you just need to grind harder and wake up earlier. They lie to you. The breakthrough you were promised never seems to arrive, leaving you hollow. It feels as though you are driving a high-performance machine with the emergency brake pulled tight. I am here to tell you a brutal truth. This is not a lack of effort on your part. You do not have a motivation problem. You have a biological programming problem. Deep within the architecture of your brain, an outdated script is running on a continuous loop. It is quietly sabotaging every conscious step you take toward wealth and absolute peace. You are fighting an invisible war inside your own skull. Every time you try to build an empire, this unseen force tears down the foundation. You read the books and you write down your goals. You visualize the money and the freedom, but your physical reality refuses to match your mental images. The frustration builds until it suffocates your ambition. Why does the universe respond to the 1% but leave you struggling in the dirt? They will call it luck. They will say you were born with the wrong cards. But the titans of industry do not rely on chance. The elite operate on a completely different biological frequency. Your inconsistency is simply a symptom of a much deeper anatomical failure. Let us examine the engine of your mind. Deep inside your brain is a tiny region called the hippocampus. In the insanely wealthy, this region is thick and highly developed. It is constantly broadcasting a microscopic frequency that pulls opportunities toward them like a magnet. They do not chase money because they are biologically wired to attract it. But for the average man, the reality is incredibly dark. Because you were not born into generational wealth, you inherited a biological disadvantage. Science calls it a shrunken hippocampus. Instead of broadcasting a frequency of abundance, your brain is trapped broadcasting a survival wave. You are operating on a frequency of pure fear and scarcity. The modern world is perfectly designed to keep your hippocampus suppressed. The endless stacks of bills and the exhausting hustle culture destroy your focus. Constant financial anxiety floods your brain with cortisol. Every time you stress over money, this tiny region shrinks a little more. Your natural ability to attract wealth is pushed into dormancy. This is the survival wave. It hijacks your nervous system and forces you to play defense. When you operate in this state, consistency is biologically impossible. Your brain thinks you are under attack, so it hoards energy and shuts down your ambition. You cannot manifest a kingdom when your biology is desperately trying to survive the bitter winter. This is why you can practice the law of attraction for years with zero results. You are trying to download wealth into a broken receiver. You chase money endlessly while the elite simply let it flow to them. It is a biological block passed down from generation to generation. It is quietly sabotaging your highest potential and keeping you eternally poor. Most men will go to their graves believing they just did not work hard enough. They will blame the economy or their boss. You are not most men. You felt the call to greatness, which is why you are listening to my voice right now. Before we dive deeper into the laws of mind control, I want to plant a highly important seed in your consciousness. There is something hidden from the public. It is a biological secret funded by elite billionaires and verified by top-tier neuroscience. It finally explains the frustrating gap between the wealth you visualize and the reality you wake up to. I will reveal exactly what this mechanism is before we finish today. It is a profound truth that changes everything. But first, you must deeply understand why the financial deck was stacked against you from birth. So hold this question in your mind. What if your struggle to attract abundance is not a lack of hustle, but a dormant frequency waiting to be switched on? Hold that thought. We will return to the answer when your mind is adequately prepared to receive it. You must stop blaming yourself for the drift. The drifter is not born. He is manufactured by a society that thrives on his exhaustion. When your survival wave is active, your vision narrows. You cannot see the lucrative synchronicities passing you by every single day. The wealth is already surrounding you, but your internal receiver is completely offline. Think about the days when you felt truly unstoppable. You had absolute clarity and supreme confidence. That was a brief moment when your hippocampus expanded and the survival wave broke, but then the fear crept back in. The bills arrived and the doubt resurfaced. The survival wave crashed down and washed away all of your temporary hard-earned momentum. To become a sovereign commander of your reality, you must master your biology. You cannot outwill a misprogrammed mind. You must rewire it. Discipline is useless if it is applied to a fundamentally broken system. You have spent years treating the symptoms of your poverty. Today, we begin treating the root cause of your eternal struggle and invisible pain. The 1% know that reality is malleable. They do not accept the limits imposed by the survival wave. They understand that the brain is a machine waiting for the right command. If you leave your mind unguarded, the world will program it for mediocrity. But if you seize control of the frequency, the world has no choice but to bend to your royal will. I demand your absolute focus for what comes next. Do not let your attention wander. The information I am about to share is the dividing line between the consumer and the creator. You must rip out the old programming by the roots. You must prepare the soil of your mind for a complete architectural shift. The era of playing the victim is officially over. Let us begin this lesson with Principle 1. The universe works by law, not by clock. You have been conditioned to believe that time equals money. You think hard work alone builds massive empires. But the absolute opposite is actually the truth. The hardest workers are very often the poorest. They trade physical labor while their mental frequency remains trapped in poverty because they never learned to command their biology. Understand this undeniable truth about the world today. There are exactly two kinds of men in this world. The consumer who lets society dictate his fate is known as the drifter. The creator who forces reality to bend to his will is the sovereign commander. The drifter complains about the storm while the commander harnesses the fierce wind to push his massive ships forward toward his ultimate destination. The difference between them is never natural talent. The difference is purely biological. You must realize that your mind is a powerful magnet. Every thought is a seed, and your physical reality is the harvest. The elite 1% understand this universal law deeply. They guard their mental gates with absolute aggression. They refuse to let fear enter their sacred space. While the masses consume negativity and allow their focus to drift, the elite program their minds for absolute dominion over reality. Here is the brutal truth the elite do not want you to know. The reason the universe responds to the wealthy and leaves you struggling is not because they work harder than you or possess stronger discipline. It is not because they visualize better, and it certainly is not because they possess superior intelligence. The gap between your reality and theirs is entirely biological. Deep inside your brain is a tiny region called the hippocampus. In the insanely wealthy, this region is thick and highly developed. It is constantly broadcasting a microscopic frequency that literally pulls money and lucrative opportunities toward them like a giant magnetic vacuum. They do not have to force success. The wealth simply flows to them because their internal receiver is fully activated. But for the average person, the reality is much darker. Because you were not born into an 8-figure family, you inherited a biological disadvantage that blocks your access to this hidden power. Science calls it a shrunken hippocampus. Instead of broadcasting a wealth frequency, your brain is trapped broadcasting a survival wave. The modern world is explicitly designed to keep it exactly that way. Every time you stress over money, this tiny region shrinks a little more. Your natural God-given ability to attract abundance is pushed deeper and deeper into dormancy. This is why you can read every self-help book and practice the law of attraction for years with zero physical results. You are trying to manifest wealth while your internal receiver is completely powered down. You end up chasing money endlessly while the elite simply let it flow. It is a biological block passed down from generation to generation. It is quietly sabotaging your highest potential every single day while you exhaust yourself trying to climb a broken ladder. Most people will go to their graves believing they just did not work hard enough. But you are not most people. You are meant for a much greater destiny. And remember the question I asked you to hold earlier today. The question about whether your struggle was just a dormant frequency waiting to be switched on by a specific trigger. You are about to see that the answer is not only scientifically proven, it is closer than you could ever imagine. But before we get there, you need to understand the history of this hidden power. Let us look to the example of Andrew Carnegie and Henry Ford. These were legendary men who built towering financial empires from absolute scratch without the help of modern advantages. They started with empty pockets and a burning desire. But they possessed a secret weapon that the average man completely ignored. They had a fully active abundance frequency. They knew wealth must be created in the unseen realm first. Ford did not build his fortune by merely working long hours. He built it by holding a singular vision so powerfully that his brain began to pull resources toward him from the universe. His mind was an absolute fortress. He was the ultimate sovereign commander of his internal reality. When you study the great titans of history, you notice a clear pattern. They all spoke of a mysterious, unseen force that guided their most lucrative decisions. Thomas Edison spent years trying to unravel the mysteries of this exact internal brain power source. He knew that the conscious mind was highly limited, so he relied on the subconscious to deliver his greatest inventions to the world. The elite billionaires of today operate on this exact same principle. They secretly use specific mental protocols and fund expensive lawyers to keep them permanently hidden from the struggling middle class. They want you to stay distracted by the endless noise of the modern world. If you are stressed and exhausted, you can never activate your dormant hippocampus. You remain a helpless drifter. But the Creator refuses to accept this engineered limitation. A wrong decision is always better than no decision at all. The drifter waits for circumstances to improve before he takes action. The Creator forces the circumstances to change by elevating his internal frequency first and refusing to accept the reality he was handed. You must stop waiting for a savior and become the architect of your own destiny. Your subconscious is a tireless contractor that never sleeps. It builds exactly what you instruct it to build right before you close your eyes. If you go to sleep in fear, your mind spends the next 8 hours building a reality of scarcity that you will wake up to. You are literally programming your own failure while you rest. The wealthy do the exact opposite every single night. They use their quiet hours to commission wealth and unshakable confidence. They feed their subconscious mind with images of absolute victory. Their thick hippocampus takes those instructions and begins to broadcast a magnetic signal out into the universe to attract massive wealth. By the time they wake up, the opportunities are already rushing toward them. It is an unfair biological advantage. You have been fighting a war with no weapons for far too long. You have relied on sheer willpower to overcome a massive biological barrier. Willpower is finite and it always runs out when you are exhausted. But a restored brainwave operates automatically in the background, doing the heavy lifting while you simply walk through the doors that open for you. Let us move forward into the undeniable science of your mind, because this is not just philosophy or wishful thinking. This is pure biological law. Modern neuroscience has finally caught up to what the ancient titans knew all along. Your brain operates on highly specific electrical frequencies, and those invisible frequencies dictate every single outcome in your physical life. When you operate in a state of fear or anxiety, your brain produces a chaotic rhythm. This is the exact frequency of the drifting masses. It is a biological state that literally repels wealth and invites disaster, leaving you completely powerless. The drifter tries to use positive thinking to escape his poverty, but positive thoughts cannot survive in a brain that is broadcasting pure terror. You must understand the dangerous role of your amygdala. It is the primitive alarm system inside your skull. When you worry about unpaid bills or stress over your future, this primitive alarm system takes absolute control and it forcefully suffocates your hippocampus. You become completely blind to the opportunities that the universe places right in front of your face. The elite 1% never let their amygdala control their decisions. They maintain a cold calmness when they face massive adversity. They view failure simply as data to be analyzed. By maintaining this calm state, their hippocampus remains highly active, and it broadcasts a powerful magnetic signal that pulls massive success directly into their physical reality. Before we go any further, I have to share a massive breakthrough that changes everything. There is a powerful biological secret the elite billionaires have spent vast fortunes to keep hidden from the public, because they directly profit from your endless hustle and your constant financial anxiety. But a rogue neuroscientist formerly working on classified CIA experiments recently leaked a shocking truth. He and a team of top-tier researchers found a way to wake up that dormant wealth frequency. They discovered a method to rapidly reverse the devastating effects of a shrunken hippocampus, and they did not do it through decades of exhausting meditation, and they did not require you to wake up at 4 in the morning to force a hustle mindset. They discovered something infinitely simpler and far more powerful. The researchers engineered a precise and perfectly calibrated 7-minute acoustic frequency. When listened to, this specific sound wave completely bypasses your stubborn conscious mind, and it directly stimulates that ancient region of your brain to pull it out of its dangerous dormancy. 4 independent neuroscience labs have already verified this incredible mechanism. Researchers on the elite campuses of Harvard and Yale are observing this exact brainwave activation right now. They found that once this specific frequency is heard, it forces the brain to stop broadcasting the survival wave and immediately flips the switch on your God-given ability to attract wealth. It is a completely effortless daily ritual that you can perform at home. Just 7 minutes a day is all that the protocol requires. The energetic shift inside your mind begins the very first time you listen to the audio. I will tell you exactly what this is called and how you can access this frequency for yourself before this message ends. But first, there is one final piece of the puzzle you must deeply understand. You must realize why the traditional law of attraction has been failing you all these years. You have been trying to plant seeds in toxic soil. You cannot affirm your way to riches if your biological receiver is broken, so you must repair the hardware before you can install the new software. The drifter ignores this biological reality and continues to struggle in vain. He believes that if he just suffers a little longer, he will eventually be rewarded. The universe does not reward suffering or mindless sacrifice because it responds exclusively to the frequency you choose to broadcast. The Creator equips himself with every advantage to secure his empire. Your conscious mind is incredibly weak compared to the vast power of your subconscious, and it only handles basic logic and immediate survival tasks, but the subconscious is the tireless contractor that builds your entire reality. If you do not give your subconscious clear instructions, it will simply default to the survival wave of the masses. This is why you must become the ruthless gatekeeper of your own mind. You must stop consuming the toxic noise of society and the endless negativity of the news. Every piece of fear you absorb is a brick added to your own invisible prison. The sovereign commander cuts off the poison at the source, and he violently protects the purity of his internal world. Think of your mind as a sacred temple that must be defended at all costs. You would not let a thief walk into your home and steal your possessions, yet you allow the media and negative people to steal your vital energy every single day. You must establish a cosmic housekeeping routine to aggressively eliminate everything that lowers your dominant frequency. The neuroscientists confirmed that your environment physically alters your brain structure. When you surround yourself with drifters, your hippocampus shrinks to match their frequency, and you literally become infected by their poverty mindset and their endless excuses. To command your destiny, you must be willing to walk away from anyone who drains your power. The path of the Creator is often a lonely road. You will lose friends who no longer recognize the new version of you. But this isolation is not a punishment from the universe, because it is a necessary clearing of the space so you can attract higher-level allies. You must embrace the cold calmness of the builder during this invisible season of your life. Do not let the temporary chaos distract you from the ultimate vision, because the universe tests your resolve before it hands you the keys to the kingdom. You now understand the biological mechanism that governs your reality. You are no longer a victim of circumstances or bad luck. You possess the knowledge that separates the elite from the struggling masses. The science is undeniable, and the proof is written in the history of every titan. The only question that remains is what you will do with this immense power. Will you drift, or will you build? You think you are losing your mind because you no longer relate to your old friends. But here is the truth no one tells you. You are not losing your mind, because you are actually losing your broken programming. Let me explain exactly why your current isolation is the greatest biological sign of your incoming wealth. The drifter fears loneliness, while the Creator uses it as a powerful forge. To master your reality, you must first master your environment. You must execute what the 1% call cosmic housekeeping. It is the ruthless elimination of everything that lowers your dominant frequency. You cannot build a massive empire on a foundation of gossip and toxic news. Your mind is a sacred temple, and you are the absolute mental gatekeeper. Every single input matters. You must brutally cut off the noise. The daily news cycle is designed to pump cortisol directly into your brain. It triggers the survival wave and shrinks your hippocampus every single time you watch it. You must turn it off. A sovereign commander does not consume fear. He protects his mental architecture with iron discipline because he knows that fear destroys wealth. Look closely at the people around you today. Do they speak of vast opportunities, or do they complain about their miserable luck? If they complain, they are infecting your subconscious mind. You must detach from them immediately. It sounds incredibly harsh, but poverty is highly contagious. You must protect your energy at all costs, even if it means walking completely alone for a long season. This temporary isolation is not a punishment. It is the necessary space required to establish your brand new identity. During this silent season, you must practice the law of acting as if. You must walk and speak as if you already possess the massive wealth you deeply desire. The universe does not respond to what you want. It responds exclusively to who you are. Now, let us make this highly practical. You must possess a definite chief aim. A drifter has vague wishes about getting rich someday. A creator has a singular and burning obsession that dominates his entire waking life. Write it down right now. You must articulate exactly what you demand from the universe. Vagueness is the absolute enemy of manifestation. I want you to say this aloud right now. I am the sovereign commander of my fate. Say it until your physical body actually believes the powerful words. Let the vibration of that truth echo through your entire nervous system. You are actively programming your internal biological machine. Every time you declare your power, your hippocampus expands and your survival wave begins to collapse. But protecting your energy during the day is only step one. The most critical battle happens right before you fall asleep. You must establish a sacred night ritual. The 15 minutes before sleep dictate your entire reality for the next day. This is the exact moment your conscious mind surrenders and your subconscious contractor goes to work. Do not bring your phone into your bed. The artificial light and the endless scrolling keep your amygdala in a state of high alert. You must create absolute silence. Close your eyes and breathe deeply to slow your frantic heart rate down. You must actively switch your brain from the chaos of survival mode into the quiet power of the Creator. In this quiet darkness, you must visualize your definite chief aim. Do not hope for it to happen. Command it to be done. See the massive wealth already sitting in your bank account today. Feel the immense relief and the absolute freedom. Your subconscious cannot tell the difference between a real event and a deeply imagined emotional experience. You must repeat this exact ritual every single night without fail. Repetition is the only language your subconscious truly understands. The drifter tries this for 2 days and quits because he sees no immediate money. The architect of destiny performs this ritual for months because he knows the invisible foundation must be poured first. There will be days when the survival wave tries to drown you, the monthly bills will pile up, and the physical evidence of your wealth will seem completely non-existent. This is the ultimate test. You must maintain a cold calmness when the world around you is burning. This is the exact moment the universe decides if you are truly worthy of massive abundance. This is exactly why you feel so disconnected from your old life. You are literally vibrating on a completely different biological plane. The people who mocked your ambition will eventually work for you. Do not let their blind ignorance break your iron focus. Your current isolation is simply the cocoon of your ultimate evolution. Stop waiting for a lucky break to save you. Stop asking the universe for permission to be great. You do not need permission. You need ruthless mental discipline. Your mind is a dangerous weapon, but you have been holding it by the blade for your entire life. It is time to grab the hilt and swing it with absolute authority. From this moment forward, you tolerate zero negativity in your space. You accept zero excuses from your own mind. When fear tries to whisper in your ear, you silence it immediately. You are the mental gatekeeper, and your kingdom is under your absolute control. The era of the exhausted drifter is permanently over. But willpower and daily rituals take massive amounts of energy, and when you are already exhausted from the daily grind, your discipline will inevitably slip. This is exactly where the elite 1% use their hidden biological advantage. They do not rely on sheer mental force alone because they have a scientific tool that forces the frequency shift automatically. You now know the strict laws of cosmic housekeeping. You know the exact daily rituals required to protect your sacred energy. The drifter will hear these commands and do absolutely nothing. The sovereign commander will execute them tonight. Which one are you? The answer to that question determines your entire financial future. The time for drifting is officially over. You have heard the absolute law of the universe. You now know that every excuse you have ever made was nothing but a biological shadow. Tonight, as you close your eyes, you must make a final choice. Will you return to the endless chaos of the struggling masses, or will you step into the quiet power of the 1%? You are one decision away from incredible momentum. You are one mental shift away from a completely new life. But that shift will not happen unless you forcefully make it happen. I invite you to make a life-altering decision right now. You must say to yourself that you are done playing the victim. Fear will no longer write the script of your future. That dark chapter is permanently over. A brand new chapter begins with your supreme decision today. The science of neuroplasticity and ancient wisdom agree on one vital thing. You cannot outwill a severely misprogrammed mind. To truly rewrite your physical reality, you must bypass the conscious noise. You must repair your broken biological receiver. The question I asked you to hold at the beginning of this message is finally answered. A microscopic wealth attraction frequency is naturally active in the elite 1%. Classified CIA research officially confirmed it. 4 independent neuroscience labs verified the incredible truth. Researchers on the campuses of Harvard and Yale are observing it right now. Dr. Thomas Summers is a rogue New York City neuroscientist. He formerly worked on these top-secret experiments and refused to let billionaires keep this cheat code hidden. He and his elite team spent years compressing the clinical protocol for hippocampus growth into a simple audio track. But before I tell you what they built, listen to the ones who used it. Emma was a former nurse from California who felt her family was under a severe financial curse. She was exhausted and completely drowning in massive debt. After just 3 days of listening, she broke the vicious cycle. She quit her job and sold her house for way over the asking price. She now travels the world on passive income and shares this abundance. Michael was a former policeman in Florida who started using the protocol to scale his struggling business. Within 5 days, he quadrupled his high-paying clients. He quickly found himself networking with wealthy elites who put him on national television. The journey was completely effortless. That is because of what Dr. Summers and his researchers discovered. They call it the billionaire brainwave. It is not a generic manifestation app. It is a highly engineered 7-minute binaural sound wave designed to directly stimulate your hippocampus. That is the entirety of the work required. You listen for 7 minutes in the morning with your headphones on while you sip your coffee. You do not repeat forced affirmations. You simply let the precise frequency rewire your brain to automatically receive. The billionaire brainwave is not for everyone. It is for the chosen visionary who knows their lack of wealth is a blocked biological channel. Private neuro-acoustic sessions to reverse a shrunken hippocampus cost thousands of dollars in a clinical setting. The elite pay massive fortunes. But this protocol is available to you today for less than the cost of a few cups of coffee. 4 powerful bonuses are included to support your brand new reality. You receive the Warren Buffett pyramid to manage your massive wealth. You get the 7 lazy millionaire habits and an emergency quick cash manifestation AUDIO. You also receive 500 billionaire success stories. The massive financial windfalls you pray for do not arrive out of thin air. They arrive as golden opportunities. A brain trapped in survival mode misses the recognition completely. Delaying means letting your inheritance remain invisible. But beware of fake tracks circulating on YouTube. They carry zero binaural entrainment technology, and they will keep you trapped. The only authentic version is available through the official link below. Your access is protected by the billionaire's ironclad promise. If you do not experience a physical increase in your wealth and luck, every penny is returned. The universe demands zero financial risk. The link is waiting for you in the description and in the pinned comment below. The tool does not replace your ambition or your ultimate purpose. It simply repairs your biological receiver so the wealth you visualize can finally materialize. Abundance is your divine birthright. What the researchers built is just one powerful accelerator. Whether you choose that path or not, let us go deeper into preparing your mind for the massive opportunities ahead. What was described a moment ago is the key turning the ignition. The heart of this message is how you steward that wealth once it begins to flow. There is no neutral thought in this universe. Every thought is either pushing you forward or pulling you back. The man who realizes this treats his thoughts as powerful tools. He refuses to entertain the poison of doubt. So what will your incredible legacy be? Will you be remembered as the man who allowed fear to define him? Or will you be the man who looked adversity in the face and claimed his ultimate throne? Leave your vow in the comments below. Let it be the sacred contract you sign with your own destiny. Write down your definite purpose and declare your ultimate victory today. For the visionary ready to switch their internal wealth receiver on, the tool I described earlier remains accessible. The path remains open in the description below. That is the final time I will mention IT. What remains now is the sealing of your ultimate transformation. The closing of this message is meant strictly for your mental architecture and your divine peace. Break free once and for all from the heavy shackles of negative thinking. Your mind is the absolute gateway to your freedom. Your thoughts are the key, and your royal destiny is waiting. Never again let a negative thought decide your incredible future. Subscribe to this channel if this sacred tradition is yours. Listen to this lesson again until your reality bends to your will.